Hello, I'm here with...
I'm David Jaloza. I'm a producer at Bandai Namco America for Bless Unleashed.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Bliss and a little bit more of what your role does for the video game?
Sure. So Bless Unleashed is a free-to-play MMO coming out for Xbox One later this year. The game is set in a world kind of similar to, like, if you think of like ancient Greece, where there's gods messing with mortals, and the gods are always kind of fighting for power and pulling the strings of mortals to kind of get their way. And you, as a player, are special in some way, and you're trying to figure out, what role you play in this cosmic struggle.
Now, I've got to play the game a little bit myself, and it really piqued my interest right off the bat, just because I saw MMO and I was like, oh, I'm a sucker for those games. And
Sure.
I saw it, but it didn't run like your traditional MMO. It was more like, when you think of that, I think of something more like World of Warcraft, where it's common for you to stand there and get hit by the enemy as you're getting keys. But this one, in a sense, was it almost had, I hate to compare games, but
No, go for it.
But I kind of do it naturally.
You have to.
Yeah. It almost had a Dark Souls feel to it, because one of the key mechanics that I felt in the game was the dodging, and you had a stamina bar, so you can only do it so much. And so this game encourages you, well, not encourages you, it punishes you if you just stand there and take a beat.
Right.
So you have to move around. It's not just very stiff. So when you get hit, you see the reaction. What was your what was the thought process of making it like that? Sure.
So one thing about Bless Unleashed is we built it from the ground up for console. So a lot of console MMOs, they do really well on PC, and then they bring them over to console. It's like fitting a square peg in a round hole. So what I'm proud of with this game is a control scheme meant for console, which means we want to appeal to console players. And you can't have 15 different skills all on your screen and just sit there and tap which one. That's not very much fun. So we took inspiration from other games people have compared to Monster Hunter or Dark Souls, just basically a more action-based combat.
Something I've noticed too, it almost runs like a fighting game in a sense, because you could just, of course, you could spam whatever button, but if you
you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're gonna have a hard time, but also so you could spice it up a bit. So you could I was playing as the mage. That's the only character I got to play.
Sure.
I was shooting beams, and then next thing I know, Buddy would pop to shoot an ice wall,
right,
and a firewall. I'm like, oh damn, that's cool. But what was the inspiration behind that? Because it felt, when I was playing, it felt like I was playing a Dragon Ball FighterZ or something.
Okay.
Like that.
We just want each class to feel powerful. So one thing that we kind of went away from is the trifecta of healer, tank, and DPS. We want every class to feel special and powerful. So every class is going to have different skills. Every class is going to have different button combos. And since we're running on Unreal 4, we want it to just look gorgeous and feel powerful.
Yeah, and it did look really beautiful. Unreal is a fantastic engine.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask too, since the game is going to be a free to play, the microtransactions in the game are obviously going to be there for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Are the transactions, I don't know if you're allowed to speak on this yet.
Sure.
Are they going to be purely cosmetics, or are some of them going to give you boosts and help you out?
Sure. So it being free to play, we're very cognizant of even the perception of pay to win. A lot of games get that, even though they're trying hard not to be pay to win. So we're trying really hard to communicate that we don't want any of that at all. Right? Okay. We want our game to be fair. We want it to be balanced, and for everyone to have a good time. That being said, we're going to have cosmetics, like I said, so costumes, weapon skins, mounts, types of things that just kind of change maybe how you look, not necessarily how you play.
Okay.
And we'll have small convenience items, nothing that gives you an unfair advantage, but something that might save you some time.
Would you say maybe I'm just spitballing?
Sure.
Maybe an XP boost or a damage.
Exactly. Probably not damage boosts, or
I kind of heard that.
Or if so, I'm not saying we're doing this, but to communicate the philosophy. Let's say there was a damage boost potion. That might be something that would take someone a little bit of time to craft, and they could do it for free. or you can spend some money and get it without taking the time to craft it. Okay. So there's no unfair advantage. Everyone has access to this damage boost. But if you paid money, it saved you some time. I'm not saying we have that. I'm just but maybe things like double XP for 1 hour, which we wouldn't have. Okay, buy your way to max level, right? That's a little too much. We think. So things like that just save time, offer convenience to players, and not give them an unfair advantage in PvP or leaderboards or anything like that.
Now, since this is going to be an MMO. A lot of MMOs have level caps. Mm-hmm. Are you guys planning on having a level cap right now? Are you allowed to say the level cap? Or
I want to say it's level 30.
Okay.
But I'm 95% sure. So if it comes out and it's 40 for gaming, but I want to say it's 30 or 35, and then slowly over time we might increase that.
Okay. And one thing too is that the game, since it's an MMO. I spoke to some of the team behind it when I played it. Mm-hmm. They said that there's going to be zones where it's PvP, PvE, and then kind of a neutral area, so whoever engages first.
Sure.
Would you be more willing to go into that a little bit more?
There's not a whole bunch more than that. Players in the neutral areas might be flagged, so you kind of know who to watch out for. And then if. Yeah, there's really not much more than that. I want to say there's situations where guards of cities might attack you if you're flagged and you go in. But there's we'll have battlegrounds for PvP, which will be something like World of Warcraft. There's a large area, 15 versus 15 people fighting. But as far as just general PvP, you pretty much got it.
Okay. There's something I wanted a little bit more clarity on too.
Sure.
When I was speaking to some of the team behind it, they said that they explained to me that there's 3 different factions, or 2, if I'm not mistaken.
The faction system is still being worked on. Okay. It might not be there for launch, but the idea just comes from with MMOs you want to appeal to a large amount of players. Some people love PvP, some people hate it. So we want to encourage gameplay that would go with the different types of players that there are. Okay. So generally speaking, there'll be a faction for PvPers, a faction for dungeon raiders or what have you, PvEers, and then a faction for producers, players that like to craft, and players that like to spend time on their farm homestead, and maybe don't want to be hardcore raiders or hardcore PvPers, and then there'll be until three-way struggle with these factions to get specific bonuses or quests or what have you. That's not for launch and still being designed. So I don't have a lot of specifics, and whatever I say might change slightly based on player feedback, or just once we get it in game. Oh, this doesn't on paper. This is great. It kind of is a little different. So.
But so just so I get some clarity, PvP will launch with the game.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will obviously if you choose to be on side A or side B, that's when it all implements, right? Yeah,
you'll earn points towards different factions, right? Okay. And so what you participate in and what you do will steer you towards a faction.
Would it be
that's the idea?
Okay. Would it be possible to kind of what's the right way to say it, to kind of play the factions, I guess, to kind of have them all equally on your side, or is there? I'm
not really sure. To be honest, how that's all going to shake out.
Okay. With a little bit more of the class system. So I saw that there's 4 classes. There's
5.
Oh, 5. Mm-hmm. Okay. I must have missed one.
No, you're totally fine.
So there was a mage. There was almost a hunter.
Yeah, like a ranger. Yep.
And a tank.
Yep, the berserker.
A healer.
The priest.
And then I'm missing out on the.
It was a crusader. Okay. He's kind of your knight, your sword and shield type of class.
Would you be more willing to go into the classes a little bit more brief?
Yeah. Oops. Absolutely. So I'll start with the crusader. So he's kind of. I say he, she, just because that's what the demo has. Every player can play. Male, female, what have you. So the crusader is kind of your sword and shield, a little bit offense, a little bit defense. So he'll be able to get into a defensive stance. Then there's the berserker, who's kind of more your tank, your slow moving, heavy hitting. They're going to be doing lots of damage, but going to be vulnerable because they're swinging usually big two-handed weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Your ranger is your kind of bow and arrow class. So light armor, very quick, range class. Mage, also range damage class, with some abilities to increase the damage of others around them. And then priest, also range DPS, but its abilities are more healing towards. So we're going all the way from the triangle of tank, healer, DPS. Every class can kind of hold their own. So the classes complement each other really well if you're in groups, but they're not dependent on each other, if that makes sense.
So it's possible to run this game, to run it solo then.
A lot of it, yeah. If you want to do some of the end game contents with the bigger monsters or bosses, you're going to need more people.
Uh-huh.
But if you're a priest, you don't have to be super worried about not being able to survive.
Okay.
You should pack some power.
So what you're saying is you're challenging the community to try to finish the end game by themselves.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it.
One thing I found really interesting, just because you don't see a lot of it right now in the industry, is that this was going to be an Xbox exclusive, and I believe at launch, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to go into a little bit more of that, of why you guys chose Xbox and not just to have it across the board?
Not really, because I'm not 100% aware of the reasonings when it all started. I wasn't at Bandai when those decisions were being made, so I just don't know. Okay. I know that Bandai has good relationships with Xbox. I know that we don't want to try to put it out for every platform and lose focus and have it be sub quality. That we want to really let's get it on one platform first, make sure it's good. Okay, now let's expand.
Okay.
Rather do something small with more quality than large and less.
Makes sense.
That pretty much.
Do you know how long it's going to be exclusively for Xbox before you branch out?
I do not know.
Okay.
Yeah, the world's our oyster. If it does well, we would. I can easily see us going to other platforms.
Okay.
But right now, no plans.
Now it's no secret creating any video game, let alone an MMO. I would imagine would be just pounding your head against the keyboard, oh my god. It sounds like an incredibly difficult task.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you guys to take up this task? What inspired you to create such a magical world with rich lore and everything?
Sure. A lot of it is, we're all gamers, and we saw, an opportunity on the console market for these MMOs. Right? People love MMOs ever since, back in Ultima Online or MUDs. As far as design direction and lore, that more goes to the developer, Round 8 Studios. But for us, we saw the opportunity to really bring this rich game made for console into this market where there's not a lot of MMOs that have done this, especially in Unreal 4. So we feel that there's a lot of room for growth here with players finding something new and being exposed to MMOs in a different way.
Okay. Another question I want to ask. It's not like a broken record, I keep saying that.
You're totally fine.
Was that I noticed for a lot of, in general, online video games, if it's the most clear one I can think of is because I'm playing it right now is Red Dead Redemption. They have the posse system, so it's if you play with your buddies, you get whatever little bonus is, and it makes it more fun. For this MMO, are you going to reward players a little bit more for playing with other community members or just playing with their buddies in the game in a sense?
That's a good question. I don't think we have any rewards like that per se, but playing with friends, you'll be able to maybe get through stuff a little faster, right? Take on bigger monsters. In these soul pyre areas, that's kind of where you'll go to heal, and you can trade food with other players and heal up quicker and party up. So we'll have those types of elements for sure.
Okay. I know Borderlands, I'm going to kind of make it all connect right now.
Sure.
So Borderlands 3, they implemented a new feature. It's let's say you and I were to be playing Blessed together. If I was to take the loot before you, that the loot is mine now. But what they implemented was something where it's it's a universal loot drop, so person A and person B still gets that.
Yeah, that's how we're doing it too.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was
saying. Yeah. As long as you participated in the fight, you should be rewarded for that fight, and it would ideally give you something that is useful to you.
Okay. Does it also depend on how much you participated in it? Let's say if you're healing, or as long as you're just in the kind of the vicinity.
I think that's something we're working out right now to see. to see if you're the top contributor is any different than someone that is hit like sad.
Yeah.
Right. So like a lot of that's still kind of being balanced and tweaked. At the end of the day, we just want to go for fairness.
Okay. That makes sense.
So like if you just sat there but you're in the area, you probably won't get a reward. So as long as you did some damage to the big guy you're fighting, you should be able to get something.
For MMOs too, you also have like clans, you have teams. I'm assuming this is going to be a feature in the game where you can start...
Yeah, we'll have guilds. Yep, and then we'll expand on those with updates. We'll have guild XP and what have you. Lots of fun stuff is on the idea plate, and it'll just trickle on down. If players say like, oh no, we double down on guilds, we want more and more guilds, then we'll move all the guild stuff forward in the schedule. If players are like, nope, this is cool, we want this other stuff, then we'll kind of change our schedule to kind of fit what the players are kind of asking for.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting that just piqued my I was like, oh wow, that sounds really cool. They said that ideally you guys don't want an official end game. You're just going to keep trying to pump out content as long as you can to keep the story never ending.
Sure.
That seems really ambitious and just really...
Yeah, I wouldn't say no end game, because there's going to be like this realm system that you talked about. There's going to be the battlefield. There's going to be these high level dungeons that you're going to want to do to keep crafting, keep getting more items. We'll be putting out more and more and more. So we'll be constantly updating the game. But I wouldn't use the words no end game because players will always reach that point, and you're going to always need something for those players to do to feel engaged and fun, and not, oh wait, no, I'm not going to play Bless today, I'm going to play this other game. Oh look, now I'm playing this other game and Bless is gone, right? So we always want something for everyone.
So would you say that you guys have I don't want to say like a 5-year plan, but kind of like that in the sense.
Oh yeah,
it works out.
We have a live ops roadmap, yeah. So content right now we're planning on content drops like kind of every month ish, and then larger ones every 3 months.
Okay.
And then in between, if there's a bug fix or patches or what have you, right? Because we can see like, oh wow, no one's completing this quest. What's going on? Oh, the quest giver's on top of a mountain. Okay, let's bring them down, right? Little tweaks like that to just make the game experience better.
From what I experienced in the game, when you're playing as the heroes or the legends, they all seem to be human, correct?
In the demo?
Yeah.
In the demo, there's one Varg, which he's in like a crazy armor, so like it might be hard to tell.
Yeah, I couldn't make do. So you can play as other races that aren't just humans.
Right. So there's human, there's elf.
Dude, all of the individual races have individual perks. Like a human would be better at like cooking, or the elf would be better at stealth.
I do not think so.
Okay.
I think like right now only the Varg could be a berserker just because like they're big and heavy.
To kind of like fit the universe.
Yeah. And then you have what you didn't see on the floor was the Ippin. Ippin is like a dog mouse like small cute little creature that you can play and run around on.
Okay.
Yeah. So four races at launch.
And do you plan on, I don't know if you could talk about this right now, but do you plan on adding perhaps more races as the game moves on?
More classes we want to do. More I'll never say never. But right now on the roadmap, I don't think there's any more races. But if later on there's a need or we feel it would serve the community, like anything's possible.
Okay. Obviously you've been working on the game for a very long time, and seeing this right now, I would imagine is like really rewarding. What would you say is probably what's been one of your favorite parts of developing the game, and also like what's like one of your favorite mechanics or like favorite moments of the game?
Sure. So the most rewarding part is being out there watching people play it and then getting their feedback, and knock on wood, it's all been positive. People seem to be enjoying it, and like as a game developer you can't ask for anything else. So that's one of the positive things. My favorite moment so far was during the beta test, our last one, where there's this field boss, this big wolf, and there's like 30-40 people killing it. The wolf summons other wolves to come and attack once it's at half health or something. And then when someone around you dies, they get like a red cross on their head, and you can stop attacking and go like help them up. So a rewarding moment for me was when that happened. Almost everyone jumped in to help somebody else.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and like it honestly restored my faith in humanity a little bit, because like everyone was really quick to get everyone else back on their feet to then participate, and like for me, like that just filled up my heart bucket, because that was a really cool moment.
That seems really like sweet right there.
Yeah.
That made me come up with another question, so thank you.
Let's do it.
You said there were like a handful of people fighting this giant wolf boss. How many people can you do? I'm assuming like raids. In a sense? How many people can you do raids with?
So those are more kind of like dynamic world events. So as many people as kind of come in.
Would you be able to play with other people from like the other factions, even though you guys are going against each other? It's like a sense of like unity.
You might be able to. Like I said, the faction isn't quite totally dialed in yet. But yeah, anyone who's around can participate in it. We're still working to see how many players will be attacking at once. If we might have to like shard it off or whatever, or just to make sure the frame rate stays at a good spot.
I would imagine so, because I know like playing other video games with a whole bunch of different people, like, oh my god,
the frame rate drops. Yeah. And so like we want to find that sweet spot of as many people on screen, make it feel as alive as possible, but also keeping the game optimized and running well.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much all I could think of. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Liz.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Liz.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Liz.